Hey guys, some of you guys might have seen a video we released yesterday talking about moving to Japan. So if you haven't seen that yet, you might want to watch it first before you watch this one. So there'll be a link to the moving to Japan video. There'll be a link to that in the comment section of this video. So I suggest you watch that first so you'll keep up with the rest of us. So as you guys who saw that video know, we're talking about the difference between visiting Japan and living in Japan. What a different experience it is and how we're treated differently by Japanese people. So that video actually drew all sorts of comments, including a couple of comments from people who said, yes, I love visiting Japan, but I wouldn't like to live there. And that was a really, really good point. I actually have an Australian friend who's the same. He comes to Japan often. Probably about once every 2 years he comes for a couple of weeks and absolutely loves it. He usually goes skiing in Nagano or up in Hokkaido and absolutely loves it. But it makes sense for him to live in Australia. So this is actually a really good option for a lot of people because the disadvantages that you have or the difficulties that you have living in Japan can be avoided if you live in your own country and then just visit Japan. So in that video yesterday, we were talking about how, you know, being in Japan for a holiday is sort of like nirvana, because when you come here for a holiday, you've got all free time, you don't have to go to work, you've got money, you're staying in hotels, you don't have to do any chores, life is good, right? So if you're only coming here for holidays, you live in your own country but come here for holidays whenever you feel like it. Obviously your experience in Japan is going to be that holiday experience, which is much easier than the living here experience. Then there's a whole heap of other logistical things too. One big one for people about moving to another country, whichever country it happens to be, and leaving their home country and moving to another country, one big point with that is leaving the family behind and leaving your friends behind. And that's really hard for some people, or almost impossible for some people, to leave their family behind and their friends behind and go live in another country. So that can be a really difficult thing to do. The other one too, of course, is for most of us, we can earn much more money in our own countries than we can in Japan. And that's usually the case. Most people who have their profession in their own country and then come live in Japan usually have to change professions and take a big pay cut. Usually, not always, but that's usually the case. We get paid less here. So my buddy that I referred to earlier, the Australian guy, he's actually a dentist. So he earns much more in Australia as a dentist as he would here, because he couldn't work as a dentist here. So, you know, he'd teach English or something and get, you know, $3,000 a month or $2,500 a month or whatever he'd get as a full-time English teacher. So for most people, that's the case. We can earn more money in our home countries. The other thing too, the big thing at the moment is the yen is so weak that if you come here for a holiday, whatever your home currency is going to be much more powerful here than it usually is. So you're going to get a lot more yen for your money when you come here, which is going to make the experience of your holiday here much cheaper. And also the opposite is also the case too. If you come to Japan and work, the yen is so weak at the moment that if your plan is to send your money back home or take your money back home later, it's not going to have as much value as it would have in the past, because the yen's so weak at the moment. So there's a whole heap of reasons like that. So it does make a lot of sense. I've actually had those comments on videos in the past. Over the years, people have made those comments that, oh, I love visiting Japan, but I couldn't live there. And so that is definitely a really good option for some people. You can get the best of both worlds. You can live in your own country, which means you can do whatever profession it is that you like to do in your own country. You know, you can earn your money there. You can be with your family and your friends and in that culture and lifestyle that you're accustomed to, that you enjoy, and then come here. And when you come here for holidays, it'll be purely enjoyment. As mentioned in that video yesterday, when you're here for holidays, it's all good, isn't it? It's all fun and relaxed and happy. And Japanese people will see you as a guest, and they'll treat you as a guest instead of treating you as a resident. And the appropriate expectations, all that stuff mentioned in that last video. So it's definitely a good option. Those couple of people that mentioned it on that video, in the comments, they said that sort of triggered this video. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. And straight away my old my old buddy came to mind as well, because that's his attitude as well. You know, he loves visiting for a couple of weeks and then he goes back to Australia and does his thing there. So definitely a good option for lots of people. So what's better than living in Japan? For some people, nothing. So for me, this is where I want to live. You know, I've got a number of options, places where I could live and work. But for me, this is where I want to live. And for some people, this is where they want to live. But for others, what's better than living in Japan? Well, living in your own country and coming here for holidays and loving every minute of your holidays is definitely a good option. And these days too, with travel being what it is, I mean, you know, Australia's like 8 or 9 hours by you know, 8 or 9 hour flight, and for a lot of people around the world, it's sort of like, you know, less than a 12-hour flight to get here. So when you look at it like that, here it's a day, you know, say it's a day. You leave your home one day, you're here the next day, sort of thing. So it's definitely doable, isn't it? So anyway, that was just food for thought. Food for thought, as was yesterday's video, which was extremely unpopular with some people. There were some people that disliked that video and thumbed it down as soon as it was released. They didn't want to hear it. One guy complained that it was too negative. Same guy actually complained. He said the video was all negative. It's all negative. Why are you so negative? And someone corrected him, said, no, it's not negative, it's realistic. But he also said that he'd watched about 500 of my videos and they're all negative, right? Which brings to mind a couple of things. One is, why would you watch 500 videos you didn't like? And the other one is, it's how you perceive it, isn't it? I mean, the way that our videos are made is we don't stop and think about it, if it's a negative or positive observation. We just observe what we see. And so some of the stuff we see is probably going to come across as a wonderful, positive thing. And some things, I think when some people say negative, what they mean is what they don't want to hear. You know, people, it's the same as our myth videos or any videos at all that point out the reality. A lot of people don't like the reality of what it is to be in Japan, to interfere with their image of what they think it is to be in Japan. Interestingly, yesterday's video, if you look at the comments underneath that, the people who agreed with the observations in that video were people who live here, right? There were other guys that live here, other people that live here that were observed, that agreed and said, yeah, I think that's really true. But lots of people who lived here agreed. Some other people who don't live here agreed as well, including those guys that said, you know, they like to visit here but couldn't live here. So all sorts of people agreed, but generally it was the ones that don't live here or haven't been here that disagree, which is fine. And again, people are welcome to disagree. If they perceive what we do as being not good, or they don't like it, or if they perceive anything and everything about Japan to be negative, well, if that's how they perceive it, that's fine. But it is sometimes amazing when you make a video and specifically say, you know, I love Japan, it's a wonderful place, and this video isn't intended to be negative, it's just supposed to be realistic, and yet someone still comes back with its negative. Sometimes those negative comments, ironically, Mr. Negativity, Mr. Person who didn't like to hear anything he thought was negative, was rather negative in his criticism of the negativity, if you see what I mean. The irony of it. And that's fine. However people want to perceive our videos, that's fine. However they want to take it. It doesn't really matter. Our attitude is anything and everything about Japan, and if one person appreciates one of our videos and gets some benefit from it, it was worth making. And that's my attitude. So if I see one comment on there where someone goes, oh, that's good to know, thanks very much, it was worth making, including this one. And if there's 10, if there's 1,000 dislikes or negative comments, that's fine. If one person said they benefit from the video, it was worth making, wasn't it? By the way, if you have watched 500 of our videos and you don't like them, probably best to stop watching them. There's a solution. Don't keep doing something you don't like. That's not good. Not good for you, for your peace of mind and your happiness. Anyway, that's more than enough of that. Yes, what's better than living in Japan? Well, it might be living just where you are now, or there might be nothing better than living in Japan. For me, there's nothing better than living in Japan. For some people, living somewhere else might be the better solution. Coming here for holidays and having a great time. More videos coming soon.